You know, with Thanksgiving come and gone, the Christmas spirit looming in the air, my own Christmas tree twinkling delicately downstairs, I felt like the Christmas spirit was finally coming over me, and I would finally enter a period this year where I was a joyful person, where I wasn't such a miserable bitch complaining about media on YouTube, where happiness finally entered my life. And then I heard that Disney was making a season 2 of She-Hulk, and it just ruined all of it for me. Hi y'all, Snarky J Cosplay here. I'm not even gonna delay this, so let's just get into this news. First and foremost, I am going to acknowledge that this is supposedly still a rumor. It's not confirmed by Disney/Marvel themselves, but it's basically confirmed because the sources that it's coming from basically know everything. So, it's being reported that 3 of Marvel's recent Disney Plus series are coming back for a second season. First and foremost, Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight are supposedly set to come back with second seasons that are longer than 6 episodes, so it seems like these are definitely going to be some meatier, more substantial seasons that we can look forward to. And of course, I have a lot to talk about when it comes to Ms. Marvel, so let's go over Moon Knight first. Admittedly, I am actually very excited by the prospect of a second season of Moon Knight. Even though the first season was far from perfect, it definitely had its flaws, I really thought that Moon Knight was way more interesting and way more entertaining than any of Marvel's recent releases, which isn't saying much, but honestly, Moon Knight I thought was a really good show. I like Moon Knight as a character, and of course, we have to chalk it up to Oscar Isaac's tremendous performance in this show. Admittedly, I am a little biased because he's also half Cuban and he's also from South Florida, so I kind of have to like him. But Moon Knight was a super refreshing addition to the Disney Plus lineup, and I'm honestly shocked that a literal D-list Marvel character got his own show, and that show was as good as it was, and it was as well received as it was on Disney Plus. So definitely looking forward to a second season of Moon Knight. That's something that I'm actually happy about. So there's a win. There's a win for me. Now on to the second rumor. Ms. Marvel. I personally didn't like Ms. Marvel. I didn't finish it. I sat through about 2.5, 3 episodes. It never grabbed my attention. To me, it felt like it was made for a much younger audience, so maybe that's why I didn't like it. But personally, Ms. Marvel was just not for me. Apparently, it's the highest rated Disney Plus TV series on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, of course, my folks that are familiar with this channel know that here we do not trust Rotten Tomatoes. We'll reference it for numbers, but I don't believe a damn word that Rotten Tomatoes says. They've rated Ms. Marvel as highly as like Citizen Kane on Rotten Tomatoes, and Disney is seeing that it is their best performing Marvel TV Disney Plus series, so of course, that might be a sign that people really like this trash. But I think it might be important for Marvel to remember that Ms. Marvel was one of the 3 top-billed characters of The Marvels. Did we forget that The Marvels is literally now the worst performing Marvel film of all time? Like 2008's Incredible Hulk was better rated and made more money than The Marvels. That's how bad that movie was. So if you have a squad of 3 characters and the box office told you, I don't want to see these 3 characters, they don't matter to me, why would you put another probably $200 million towards a show starring one of those characters? The people have spoken. They're not putting their money towards this. They're not opening up their wallets the minute you bring out Ms. Marvel. So I can't imagine why Disney is continuing to do this to us, but apparently it's gonna happen. Disney is once again playing the role of a toddler mom holding out a spoonful of lukewarm peas, and us, the sobbing toddler, begging for Abuela to come and offer us something more tasty. We are being unheard, and we're gonna eat the damn peas, because that's all there is. And speaking of things that are green and repulsive to me, I was looking forward to a second season of Moon Knight, and I could deal with a second season of Ms. Marvel. But what I can't deal with is that my mortal television enemy, the reason why I drink, the source of my PTSD, the reason why I live to forget, She-Hulk is getting a second f***ing season.
3, 2, 1, you know I'm the hottest shoe.
I can admit that the She-Hulk series actually did this channel a favor because I got some of the highest view counts I've ever gotten consistently based off of those reviews. But I'd also like to remind you that when I started this channel, I was well put together. I was analyzing the way news broadcasters and real journalists performed, the way they communicated, and that's what I was doing. I was sitting here, hair put together, face nice and compact, and I was talking to you like somebody who still had their shit together, and She-Hulk just made me so angry that I just became increasingly more unhinged, and I never got it back together, and now this is what we deal with. This is how I do the internet. I started off like I could have had a future in broadcasting, and now I'm one more YouTuber that's unhinged and screaming into the void. So if you remember those videos, you'll remember that I made a promise. And that promise was that if they ever made a season 2 of the godforsaken show that was She-Hulk, I would come back and I would review every single episode. That was a promise that I made. And admittedly, I made that promise over and over because I said there is no fucking way that Disney is going to bring this divisive piece of shit back. Like, there's no fucking way on God's green earth that they would ever make me watch. Well, guess what? They're making me watch another season of it, and because I made a promise, I'm gonna have to come back on here and do it. And I'm telling you right now, if I don't end up in a damn straitjacket by the time I'm done, it's going to be a miracle. So even though the most dedicated and polite of Marvel fans have raised their hands and said, hey, we're getting a little too much content, I feel overwhelmed, there's too much film, there's too much TV, Disney said, yeah, well here's 3 more seasons of shows, 2 of which you didn't even like. We're gonna serve it to you and you're gonna like it, so choke on that, bitch. I hate it here. And that's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more Snarky J, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support my content creation and get access to some fabulous photo shoot pictures in the process, feel free to check out and subscribe to my Patreon. I will link both in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on She-Hulk getting a second season in the comments below.